Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Back. Was out for a few days, but we had several things happen here. I'm just gonna get on the 1 hour, and we'll jump out and look at XRP from the weekly down. We had the swell meeting in Dubai, which didn't really turn out the way that people were hoping for it to. I was not really thinking they were going to make an announcement there. I was expecting a drop. We did get a drop. We got a couple really nice drops here. I put this in the XRP group, RippleNet, this falling wedge into support. You can see here on the hour, we're at a distinct trend. You can tell this by these places here. So at that point, it's a confirmed trend. Another bounce here, and then again right here. So you can see we've had several rejections off this trend, and we're right on the 65 cent, top of this 65 cent support. And we had this falling wedge. We'll go over this first, and then we're going to zoom out. Just couldn't help but notice this. One thing, just stacking indicators. So when it comes to Confluence, all of the excitement around the event was actually, I'm actually glad to see this stuff right here. The drops, all of that. That's good. Get that out of the way. I don't know if that's still the one we got on MetaTrader 4. It actually said that it went down to like 57 cents. But on TradingView for KuCoin chart, it's only showing it came down to 61. So we did have a breakout here on the falling wedge into this support, 65 cent support, 1 hour supporting trend, because the supporting price been supporting price. So at the intersection here, when we're going in an uptrend, ideally, this is, again, not financial advice a lot of times, ideally this is where you want to start to look for price action confirmation. So here's our wedge. We've seen quite a few of these. We've covered quite a few of these. A lot of times they'll break out and make an inverse head and shoulders. We'll make that green. The majority of the time this happens, the fact that we didn't get anything, and everyone's been liquidated. I say everyone, we didn't get liquidated, but knock on wood. But so we got these out of the way. That's good. So it didn't play out the way that a lot of people were hoping for it to get, to continue up here. We've seen this pattern turn into head and shoulders here. I think it's been basically 2.5 times out of 4 or something like that. Right here on the 15-minute, it played out like halfway, and then but total, I need to go back and check. This turns into this falling wedge into a support, turns into an inverse head and shoulders the majority of the time, but not every time. So also looking for this to possibly happen. So pop up just like it's doing, and maybe and then fake and come down. Where to? We'll just have to see what happens. In the bearish scenario, I want to see this trend broken, meaning like a candle on the hour, set past here, retest to the trend rejections, and continuation down. So let's clear off to be more bullish. I'd like to see this develop more structure down here, to see some more rejections down here, maybe 1, maybe 2, and a break up. The fact that nobody's paying, or no one, everyone's pretty disappointed, I think. And if it's going to make a move, then I expect it to happen probably when people are at least expecting it. But this is the point, looking to be right here. So it's at about 66 cents into 67 cents. So alarms here, and then down here at the bottom of this wick and this trend. So now that no one's paying attention, like I said, I'm just looking. We might take out some of these. Let's see, root drawings. Let's go up to the weekly time frame first and see, and we'll zoom in. Oh wait, none of this is financial advice, just sharing what's happening on the charts here. We also had Ethereum. This is off the subject a little bit, but Ethereum had an EFT on iShares show up, so that caused a lot of excitement early in the markets yesterday. But mainly what I'm looking at here, we have 2 days left on the weekly candle. We still have a little bit of a fair value gap right here on the weekly. So what I'm doing is just looking at this wick right here, and then this wick previous, and you'll see that on the other side there's nothing. So that's an imbalance on the weekly. Well, the majority of the time markets like to clear this stuff up. So if we come down to 58.8, I would close that gap up. But let's zoom out a little bit. On the previous video, we went over some of the supports I was looking at. Let's target these right here. These swing points. So one thing that it didn't bring up on the previous video was that it is a more bearish. So if we're looking at supports, then just consider everybody's disappointment. It seems like they're pushing out the Ripple's trying to actually, they're really reaching, not Ripple, but SEC is really reaching to try to get Ripple on purchases that weren't even in the United States. They weren't even made into the United States. So, they're getting really desperate. I wouldn't doubt to see this it's beyond ridiculous if you ask me. This support right here is very, on the weekly, we did break past that. You can see here. We're coming down hard. Boom. Wick. Big wick. Boom. Wick here. Drag us over here. Wicks. So we hadn't had anything set above this except for here for when the retail was, the victory for retail. But then they were like, well, the retail sales are cool, but institutional sales are not cool. Basically illegal. So, they're still going at that, and that's what we're all waiting for. But looking at a bearish scenario, so you could look at this like an ascending channel. Gotta look at all possibilities, and this is definitely a possibility with everything that we're seeing and just the way that the markets go. You'll never know what is going to happen. I wanted to point out a drop also. Mentioned this to somebody and they're like, well, that's not possible. But I'm telling you, anything is possible. Let's go to, so what I'm seeing here is downtrend and possible ascending channel. If we saw this trend continue, what I want to point out is on the daily time frame. So it's actually a really huge spike. I'm not sure if this is it, but it was, yes, this is it actually, because after the initial pump from the victory with retail, we slammed down. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little over a month later. But just looking at, let's say, just this one day, I'll go ahead and bring this out real quick. So we went from the top of this wick all the way down to here. So we went down 39%. So if we just take this, I just mentioned that, you know, that there's a chance that we could see something like this happen, and we're actually at about just about the same level. That would bring us down to, you know, 40 cents. Main area I'm looking at right here, as far as, cause I'm just thinking, if I'm a bank and I'm gonna scoop up billions and billions of XRP, and it gets cleared for institutional sales in America, then wouldn't I just drop the market? Because at current price, 65, 66 cents is a lot more than, say, you know, if we were to wipe out all these swings down here and came down to this number, down to 32, you know, then you get basically a half off discount, you know. So when you're dealing with that much money, it is that big of a deal. You know, they would definitely have some probably some competition to go against to push the market down that far, but it wouldn't be anything for, you know, Federal Reserve or whoever to come in here and drop this like a heat-seeking missile. So looking at this scenario, if this trend continued for some reason, which I don't see how it could, but like I said, anything is possible. Main point looking at right here is 47 cents. You know, anybody going really long distance swing trading would, you know, I think they would, there's bound to be at least scare the piss out of everybody here, you know, if these others didn't already do it. But we'd be looking at a 10-cent XRP if this trend continued and played out about the same. So that is one thing. Another, let's look at it from a different scenario. So these are the main levels to be watching: 32, 36, 48 to be cleared. So to wipe those out, go wipe all of them out, you know, then we'd be back down here around 30 cents. It's actually pretty good support right here. You can see. Nice strong rejections here. Big wicks. Wick, rejection, wick, rejection. So, wick. And all these here. So, this area, this 30-cent support, definitely be keeping my eye on that. But for now, if we just kind of exclude this right here, then this is look at a bullish scenario. This looks like another bearish scenario. Just looking at the chart, kind of looks bearish to me, but we haven't really broke out of this range yet. Because you can see right here, back in September 2022, we went higher than we went right here, right? But we came back down again, and then right here we actually cleared out these lows. One of the reasons I was glad to see this is because this happened before over here when it took out this low and took off. So disregarding this, and we do have a flat. This could be, you don't buy, sell anything. Saying this is a common move, fake pump, continuation down. from the previous trend. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen because I don't have a clue, but I'm looking more at these at the top of this wick right here. 72. Let's go ahead and zoom in on the daily and see if we get a bullish. The fact that we're above the 50-cent mark, or actually 56 cents. Let's go to the daily real quick. I'm going to spend a whole lot of time, but I'm going to look at a couple different scenarios. The 56-cent area was actually the one, personally, I was looking at. Everyone's 55, 56. Okay, not a big difference, but if you notice, if you're watching, we were past 55, middle 55 for a while, and it didn't do anything. We hit 56, then we blasted up out of there. So looking at it from this perspective, we didn't come up here to these highs as before. This is a big victory for retail traders, for retail investors, but it was short-lived. And here's that spike again. So 1, 2, 3 days. 3 days it went down. I'd rather be looking at downside potential and not be surprised than not to look at it and be caught off guard, So looking at this, that's 38%. Take that to where we currently are. That would take us down here closer to 40. But just looking at this structure here, the fact that we did break past the 55, 56, whichever you want to call it, we had a close over a daily close above 55, and it went down somewhere back there. So just looking at, if I'm just going to single this out, then this it kind of looks like a cup forming. We got a gap down here. We have a gap down there. We closed up this gap. That was a big one. And so really looking up here around 82 cents. And then looking for short term, like 73 possibly. So to see a cup and handle play out, plus we had this double bottom. It gave us a nice double rejection, nice clear, clean double rejection right here. But let me know what you're seeing. If anybody out there, if you're into charts or you're into analysis or trading, and feel free to drop your charts down. If you have some different info or insight, then just drop a comment in the video. I'd like to see what your perspective is. That's what we're doing. We're just sharing this stuff just because this is just the way that I'm seeing it. Doesn't mean that because I'm seeing it this way, this is the only way to see it, or these are the only ways to see it. But try to stretch my imagination down more than up. Not that I want, it's just a lot of times when all that hype's happening, you do see the opposite happening. But anyway, so to see the double bottom play out, when we breached right here, most of the time so we did right here a little bit, you'll see this, boom, come back and it'll hit this point, rejection. Okay, we went up. We did not hit these highs yet, so that's one thing that's making me be a little bit more bullish. And we didn't come back over here and hit the 72 cents when we went up. So I'll be looking for rejection to start happening if we continued up, like Bitcoin continues up. Could see XRP continue up. If I was going to shoot for a place, it'd be before, longer term, with no headway in the fundamentals or the case or anything, and for around 82 cents, I would start expecting, people start taking profits again. But so with the cup and handle, so if we look at this like a cup and handle, we would have, get this thing straight on there, boom, Got a cup. And there's always more than one way to look at stuff. You know, just because someone sees something a certain way, that doesn't mean they're right or wrong or anything, unless they're saying, you know, that they know, which nobody knows. You know, unless they're saying they know, and things do or do not plan out accordingly, then you could say they're right or wrong. So, again, not financial advice, just sharing perspective here. But so we would have a cup if you're looking at it this way, and a lot of times it's going to come up, price will come up to the top, to the left side over here. So if that happened and we see come up, a lot of times these will be continuations. Boom, hit that support, and so that's a bit of a bullish outlook. I think we need to see, really honestly, I don't really think we need to see any progress in the case. I mean, they can come in here and pump the price whenever they want to. You know, you see all these other coins, you know, they have no use case or anything like that. There's nothing special about them, but still they pump 100%, you know, 1,000%, you know, some more. So for me to say it's possible for XRP to go ahead and reach $1.50 when there's coins out there that have no use case at all at $20, $100, I don't think this is too far-fetched, even without any fundamentals. But so there's that. We might come back down here again and test this is pretty much like the dividing wall right here, the 55 cent area, 50 to 55 cent area. So this is like basically the make or break point. So you see XRP come down and take out this low around 47 cents, then, you know, something's up. I'm looking for manipulation. It could be out of the way, but you don't really ever know. Let's take this off here. We're going to zoom in to the 4 hour. We're going to leave our zones up. So you can still see this bit right here. This is downward consolidation. So this looks like a descending channel right here. You can see just because, like right here, we had ascending or moving up, you know, consolidation. You can tell because there were no impulses. There were no impulse moves. An impulse move is like this here. It broke. Consolidation, break. Consolidation, break. Consolidation, break. Okay, we had this sharp spike. So now we're in downward consolidation. Actually, this is a reversal pattern. If you want to look at it this way, is another way to look at it. So this would be like an Adam and Eve. This is looking like SEC could be trying to drag this thing out for even longer and look even more ridiculous. I don't think that anybody at this point is actually expecting them to win anything at all. Even the judges, you know, are being pretty harsh with the words. You know, judges aren't typically like that, but they're pretty much just saying like this is ridiculous, you know. And it's like I said, federal judges, federal jurisdiction, you know, the SEC. So it's their own basically calling them out and saying, you know, basically saying y'all are ridiculous. So when said hour trends happens to also be a 4 hour trend. Pretty distinct one. Still showing up on the 4 hour, good. So at this point right here, we broke and finished this Adam and Eve pattern. So it's a reversal pattern. But when we broke, we had this wick, huge wick, a couple really big rejections, and now we have this. You can look at it this way. Before, when I posted the chart, I saw it as a descending wedge. So we've already looked over, you know, four or five different scenarios. But so at this point, at 67, when we broke on the 4 hour, this became a reversal pattern. But like I said, this is a bullish sign to me, and so is the way that this consolidation is going down like this. So we're not seeing any candle bodies break. We haven't broke any major structure points minus this one that completed the pattern. So that's why I wanted to get on here and look. Let's go to the 1 hour real quick again. So if we're looking at it like this, take this off. Take these off of here real fast. And then we already looked at the 1 hour. So let's just go on to the 15. So where you see we're getting rejection right here. We have this point, you know, kind of expecting to come back down here again, maybe to this level. Let's go on to 15. So here we are. Looks like we might have a head and shoulders going, an inverse head and shoulders. So boom. And the fact that we're at the 4 hour and 1 hour supporting trend, and we're at the psychological support here on the 15-minute. This is cleared. You see his close was above the neckline here on this inverse head and shoulders. So a reason why I'm thinking this could go up right now, number one, nobody's expecting it to, I don't think. You know, before there was all kinds of money and stuff down here. You know, now everyone's short, so where's the money at? You know, if I'm an institution, then I'm gonna be probably trying to come up here. I know there's some really large, just from looking at a liquidity map. We'll go over that some other time. But you can see the positions up here. Some of the positions up here. So they have stop loss. People have stop losses up here. Excuse me. People have buy stops. So there's a lot of liquidity in this area, just in this general area. So kind of thinking we might push up. You know, going to be watching really close, zooming in like this if we do. Not too far, probably to the 5 minute. But definitely not just looking at a 5 minute chart, you know, or a 15-minute chart, especially when it comes to cryptos. Just zooming in so that we can get like a closer view of what's happening. There's a point to where it's like, okay, you know, when it breaches an area, and I want to look and see what, for an entry, then what I want to see is something, and this is just personal preference. This pullback right here was past here. Actually, let's see. We got a little bit of a trend right here. Okay, so you can see that we pulled down below. Again, this is just on the 5 minute, so not that big a deal, but we broke back below the neckline. Not a big deal. Happens a lot. Not the majority of the time. So pullback, rejection. I'd be looking for another rejection, maybe to make a double bottom, or maybe to make a double top and come down on the other side of this. So don't spend a whole lot of time. I don't spend a whole lot of time on these smaller time frames like this, but just to get ready, because we are day trading. I'm not going to be staring at this chart, looking at this chart, trying to figure, you know, without keeping all this that we just went through in mind at the same time. So let's go back to the 1 hour. Reset the chart. Here we are back at our trend. That's pretty much it. You guys, I'm looking at this now. You can see that these, we still have not got an impulse out of here. We're about to close down on the hour. So, you know, it's looking like we might come back to this area around 65 cents. Maybe test the 65 cent area again. And maybe we'll get that inverse head and shoulders on this larger time frame here. But that's going to do it for now, you guys. If y'all have any questions, then just drop a comment. If you have a chart or something like that that you're wanting to go over, or a subject or something like that you'd like to cover, anything at all, then just drop a comment and we will get to you back on the next one. Anything happens, and we'll be jumping back on today. This week was really light for the news. There wasn't a whole lot going on. Really calm. Fed Chair Powell spoke. We had USD preliminary UOM consumer sentiment come out, so DXY maybe taking a hit, but let's take a look at next week real quick. It's going to be a little bit more busy. I don't know how much it's going to impact the crypto market, but we're having a little bit more busy week. We have core CPI. So then also on down here, core PPI, core retail sales, Empire State Manufacturing, PPI retail sales. So if you're into Forex or anything like that, we're also into Forex, SPX 500, some indices, and metals. Thursday. You got any questions about that stuff, or into that? See, we have USD unemployment claims Thursday. Building permits. Okay, but that's going to do it for this one, you guys. If you have any questions, just reach out and holler, and we will keep you posted on the XRP and the development there, and we will holler at y'all later. See ya.